Hi friends, welcome back. Welcome back to my sunroom. Today is Wednesday, May 13th. My name is Barb and I live here in a little town, West Seneca, New York. It's just outside of Buffalo. Literally, Buffalo is one street over. And I'm happy you're here. I have filmed numerous videos, and then when I go to play them back, I don't like them. So I never uploaded them. So there's probably 3, if not 4, that I have already filmed in this past month that never made it. So I do welcome you here. I'm going to try my hardest to get through this today without carrying on. I guess what really bothered me when I was listening back to these videos is that I sounded like a complainer or a whiner, and I said, my gosh, who wants to listen to that? I wouldn't. I don't want to be sitting there stitching and listening to somebody complain. No. So it's positive attitude only, and if I feel the need to complain about something, you know what, I'm going to make a separate video, record it, and then delete it, right? That's how it's going to work. But I'm glad you're here. I did not check how many subscribers I had. The last count was 203, which I'm shocked. I know I will never meet Carol Saltbox, her numbers, or Brenda and Laura, their numbers, or Sweetwater Stitcher, those lovely ladies. But you know what? I have 200 of you that are here that like to sit and chat, and I so appreciate that. And what I would love even more is if you would like my video, if you would share it, if you would say to your friends, hey, you know what, you got to go listen to this lady from West Seneca because she just rambles on and she's good for about an hour, and I know I can sit and stitch for that amount of time as long as I can listen and hear what's going on in her life. And that's usually what happens with me. When I look for a video to watch, I know about how much time I have to stitch. Now, there are some nights that I have a good 3 hours, sometimes 4. I do not go to bed until very late. I work technically like a second shift at the emergency vet clinic. So by the time I get home from work, it's 11:30. I'm not ready to go to bed right away. So some nights I'm not in bed until 2 o'clock. And if I can sit and stitch for an hour, that's great. On the nights that I'm not working, I sit down 8 o'clock. I can be stitching until midnight, 1 o'clock, right? So other times, unfortunately, and I hate to admit this, and if you do this, please tell me how you break this habit. I doom scroll. I'm only going to watch a couple of like reels on Facebook or whatever, and the next thing I know, I'm doom scrolling when I could be sitting and listening to some of our lovely cross-stitching friends. So I'm really trying to break that habit. So I know if I say, okay, I have an hour, I want to watch this video. This one just popped up. Like So Sarah, I love listening to her. She's very calm. She has some great stitching that she does. She's always doing a giveaway. And it's really, really nice to just sit and listen to somebody who's stitching way far away from me. Like our stitchers that are in England or Australia or Ireland, Scotland. I'm just to think of how this brings us together as a community, even here across the United States. I feel like you're here, like, you know, you're my neighbor. And I love that. I love that about our community. So if you wouldn't mind liking and telling your friends, I would love to have them join my little neck of the woods. And let's continue to build this relationship that we have with all of our stitchers. So let me move forward. Now, as I said, I have filmed a few videos, and I do have the notes that I used for those videos. So I'm actually combining everything and going off of all of that to create today's video. Now, I'm going to warn you, the dogs are here, and Chet has decided a few times he likes to bark, so I will pause if he starts barking and then pick up from there, because he really does have a loud bark. I do have the pellet stove running in the living room, and the dogs like that little bit. It's chilly here today. It was in the mid 50s yesterday with a lot of sunshine, and today it's windy and damp and cold. And I said, you know what, we're just going to pop on that pellet stove to take that chill off the air. Okay, enough about that, enough chatter. So let me show you my one finish. Now, a lot of us have, and I'm not going to lie, I guarantee you that some of the floss in this bag was probably from kits that I stitched in the 70s and the 80s, and you get that little piece left and you don't want to throw it out because someday you might need it. Well, what I have been doing is putting those pieces into a bag. So this is my jumbled bag of excess floss. It could be DMC, it could be Anchor, it could be whatever. It could be, it's floss from kits and things like that. So what I have told myself this year, all of the smalls that I do, like the freebies, I am using this floss. Now, if you followed me last year, you saw where I talked about the stash from a sister stitcher who passed away. And I purchased her whole stash. And a lot of the stash had things that she had started and didn't finish, her whips. So I started offering some of those whips to people in some of the groups that I belong to. And everybody was like, oh, I'll take that, or I'll take that, or I would love that, thank you so very much. But then when I followed up with, would you please reimburse me for the shipping if I have to send this across the United States? Everybody backed out. I am not kidding you. Not one person wanted the kit at that point in time. Not one. So I said, okay, I'm giving you a full kit that's already been started. I have the floss, I have the fabric, I have everything. I will make sure that you have the floss that goes with it. All I'm asking, I'll put it in a small enough package that it shouldn't cost that much. Nobody wanted them when I asked to have my shipping costs covered. And I said, that's okay. That's fine. I understand shipping is really, really, really disgusting right now. I was going to ship some fabric to a friend of mine in a small package. It wasn't even this big, and it was $35. I said, the fabric in the bag isn't even worth that much. So I understand. So what I did was the two of the kits I looked at, and I knew in my heart I would never stitch them. They were not anything that appealed to me, nothing. So I took all the floss and I put it in my bag. And then I actually have the Ada, and I'm going to show it to you. It's with another whip. So every small that I do this year, every freebie that I do, I'm going to pull from this bag, hopefully. And this is not the only bag I have. I also have a little kid's toy box that has a whole bunch of different flosses in it, but they're still in their hanks. Some of them are Coats and Clark, some of them are Anchor. So, I want to work through this first because this is just a jumbled mess of floss. So, the first finish that I have with this, now if you follow Primrose Cottage, you know that they put out a freebie every month for their cross stitch as well as their quilters, but you have to sign up for the email. Now they give the pattern for free, and then eventually it becomes a paid pattern. So if it is something that you want to stitch, check your email. And to be very honest, I never remember the right day. I believe it's like the first Thursday and the first Friday of the month for the 2 newsletters. I could be wrong. Do not quote me, but they come out every month. Oops, I don't want to show you that. So this one was for, I want to say April, because it's May, right? I want to say this was for April. And it's called Sweetly Sayin. It's one of their series, and it's called Stitching. Now they use color and cotton floss, and they also offer the floss kit and the finishing kit for these little smalls. But as I said, what I'm doing to help use up some of my stash is to pull and just do what makes me happy. So here's my piece. If you notice, I did give myself some red scissors. And if you look on the tomatoes here, there's little pins. Now on those pins, on those heads of the pins, I'm going to put little beads, little glass seed beads. So I made this nice and bright and colorful. Now I have this piece that I'm going to mount it on. I'm not sure how I'm going to finish it, in all honesty, but I did get this on clearance at Hobby Lobby, and it is more of a square, where this is just slightly more of a rectangle. So I will probably just cut this to size like this, you know, cut it down here, and wrap my piece on, giving myself whatever type of a border or, you know, edging I will need, something like this, and then I'll put some rickrack or something around it. But it's going to be just a quick finish. I might, because there's no hanger thingy on here, I don't think I can put one in. I don't believe it's wood. I think it's really much more of a harder plasticky kind of something. But even if I just lean it up against something, or even lay it flat, not that I would use it as a coaster, but you know what? The other thing is, when I start to do it, if I change my mind and turn this into a pillow, I turn it into a pillow. But I stitched it on, and again, this is stash Ada. This is 14 count Ada, and this was Ada from my stitchy sister, our deceased stitchy sister, her stash. And how do I know that? Because it has tape on it. I used to do that in the 80s. I don't do that anymore. So that is a finish. Now, I have been using my picker wheel, and I've spoken about that numerous times. What I really do like about the picker wheel is that when I finish something, I will put in another number, and I can exclude all of the numbers of my items that I have stitched in the past. So I have my 2 project books, and I did get these off of Amazon last year. I think I bought 3 or 4 just to see what they looked like. There is not one that I like the best. I've looked at the Fat Quarter Shop ones. I'm not a fan. These are working fine for me. They're working fine. And where are my glasses? Oh, here they are. So what I can do, like this was my piece number 18. I started this November 30th of 2024. I finished it on the 26th of February 2026, and it was the Wee Santa from 2023, and I'm pretty sure I've shown that to you in the past. But this is what the book looks like. So you can see up here where you can put your information. I put down the floss. I put in any notes. And this is working for me. I have an additional information down here. It says, originally I started this as my snow day stitch, and I did that with our first measurable snow on November 30th of 2024. But then it snowed so much I got tired. I was pulling it out every day, and I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. So that went by the wayside. I think if I do a snow day stitch this year, bite my tongue because it's only May, I think I would only stitch it if we got an inch or more of snow. Well, who am I kidding? We always get an inch or more of snow. Maybe 5 inches, because that's more measurable. I mean, you know, I do live in Buffalo. We all know how Lake Erie is with the snowstorms. So anyway, so this is the book. I have 2. And then what I do, and this is, at some point, this is going to become a mess for me, and I might end up, I really don't want to rewrite everything. I will probably just continue on. So what you can see here is when I finish something, I check it off. So when I go to use my picker wheel, I can come back and exclude numbers like 1, 2, 4, 5, 7, 8, 10, 18. And then the wheel will only pick from my active whips. So, oh, oh, look at that. I can actually mark off the last one here, my Sweetly Sayin Stitching, because that one's finished. But I have another one that I have to put on. So this is what I use. And again, whatever works for you, even if you don't keep track of your stitching. I found that once I really dove back into my cross stitch, and I have been stitching since I was a teenager, but there were the years, you know, in the 80s when I was making a lot of things for the home. Like I made this up here for my stepfather for Father's Day one year. I never kept track, right? You just put all of your stuff in a bin and you're like, oh, what do I want to stitch on today? And you go through them all and you're like, nothing, right? But now that I have considerable more in number whips, I'm finding it's better for me to keep better track so that I can pull out, using the picker wheel, pull out something to work on to get it finished, because I'm sitting here looking at this whole pile of my whips right here and it's ridiculous. What's even worse are my quilting whips, but that's a different story for a different day. So this is what I use. Now, what I've pulled out to work on with the picker wheel, first and foremost, is, and I have it in this big thing. I bought this at Aldi thinking that this was going to be a good tool to use for cross stitch, and it's just too bulky. It's one of those lap desks. And I really just have one whip in here. And it works okay when I use this because it's, you know, I want to make sure that I don't lose the floss for this and all of that good stuff. But once I get done with this particular piece, it's going to go. It is going to go. Give it to my granddaughter or something because I'm just not going to use this anymore. So unfortunately, I started this way too long ago. It is called And Be Kind. And if you look at the bottom, it is autographed by Vicky. I did see her at retreat last fall, Hobby House Needleworks, and it was a phenomenal retreat. And I took this along to show her, and she absolutely loved it. So she did sign it for me. So I'm doing this in honor of me, my mother, and my daughter. I thought this would be a really pretty generational sampler. So the changes that I am making, I am highlighting in the different alphabets our initials. And then I'm just changing colors a little bit here and there. Now, my mother's favorite color was blue. And if you look, I wanted to make sure that I used the blue for her alphabet, which, you know, I gave my mother the larger of the alphabets. I'm going to actually go like this. I have my board here, but I've got something else pinned to it. So here I am. Now I am almost finished. You can see down here. Now if you look here, you see a J and an L. Here's the J, here's the L. Those are my mother's initials, her maiden initials. Mine at the top up here, I did in a gold, so that's a B and a T. Those are my maiden initials. And then my daughter, unfortunately, she's RO. So the way it's working out, I guess it's kind of okay. Even though the R is in this particular row and the O is down here, it's still reading from left to right, RO. So I am almost done with this. And I absolutely love this piece. And of course, you know, now looking at it, I see this gap here. And this is intended. There is a gap there, and that is intended. But this is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And I am embarrassed to tell you how long this has taken me. Just, my mother passed in 2008. And I started this piece on September 4th of 2022. It's 2026. I wanted to have it done in a year to commemorate my mother's, passing. So I am on a mission to finish this by September. And to be very honest, here, I'm going to show this to you again. You can see where I am. I am down at, I'm at the bottom alphabet. If you look at the pattern, I only have this much more to go. Okay. Now, it's really not that much. And of course, the alphabets always go really quickly. But it's the house, it's the bird. It's so quick to finish this. So I've been trying. It was my Sunday stitch for a while. And then, of course, I got sidetracked and everything else. So it has been my mission to have this finished by September to commemorate my mother. And then, of course, I'm going to take it and have it professionally framed. And I'm absolutely loving it. You know what? Let me tell you what I was stitching that on. I am using the called for threads, which are Classic Colorworks. And I am using a hoop for this piece, and I generally don't like to stitch in a hoop. I believe this is a Nerge knockoff, or it might even be a Nerge. I don't know. I don't really care for it. It is a Nerge. I don't really care for it. I don't like stitching in hoops, but because this linen is so movable, 36 count Edinburgh linen by cappuccino color by Fiber on a Whim, which is my second most favorite. You know what? It kind of flip-flops. I go back and forth between Fiber on a Whim and oh my god, I drew a blank. It'll come to me. Hold that thought. So Fiber on a Whim, and I am stitching 1/2 because for me, I like a lighter look with my, I don't like a heavy thick thread in my stitching. So that's that. That's one whip that I'm working on. And again, once I get done with this piece, this box has got to go. But for now, it's holding good for holding a whip. And I don't have a bag for it. So that's one whip. What else am I doing here? I had a friend from when I went to retreat last fall, Tracy. I had made a comment when she was stitching the Sewing Tomato by Erin Elizabeth. I was like, oh my god, I love that pattern, and I wanted to get it and I didn't get it. Well, she sent it to me. So lovely of her. And she told me, she said, when you're finished, pass it along. So I will be. I started this. Got my floss. I got all my good stuff. I can't get the stuff out of the bag because the bag is sticking to the bag. Okay. So I am stitching this on 32 count vellum Lugana and even weave. Now, if you've been following me, you've also known that I started stitching a Christmas piece on this twice. I started stitching it with 2 threads. I didn't like it. I went back to 1 thread, and then I realized I'm not going to finish it. It was called The Christmas List by Stony Brook, I believe. It was called Christmas List. So, look at that. I didn't even put my information down on there. I said, well, you know what? I do like the fabric, and I do want to use the fabric. So it is, as I said, 32 count. Picture this plus. It's vellum Lugana. I am stitching 1/2, and I started this on April 18th. I don't know what it is about this fabric. It is so tight It is so tight. And going through my cataract surgery, I just had an eye visit yesterday. I am finally to the point where I can actually see really good. But when I started this, I'm like, I couldn't, I was putting on 2 glasses. I had a light over me. I think it's literally this piece of fabric just doesn't like me. So I'm going to show you this whole piece of fabric. Now, again, if you remember, here's when I started a Christmas list the first time. Then I turned it over and I started it a second time. And I said, I can't do this. So then over here is the top of the tomato. So I will have enough. I will have enough to stitch. I mean, look at this is a big piece, right? And the tomato piece is really not that big. They're doing it on 32 count, right? And and I have 32 count, but it is a tight 32 count because I measured. So again, this is the pattern. Now the 32 count should come out at just like 6 by 7. And I did measure and I should have plenty. So this piece has 3 different starts on it. I'm telling you. Listen, we use what we have, right? We use what we have. But it is, even with one thread, you can see, maybe you can, how tight that is. So it's working. I can work on it. It has to be one of the first things I work on, just because of the light in the room. Even though I have a mag light and everything else and my eyes are much better, I still will just put a few stitches in it, and it's basically because the fabric is so tight and I want to use it. So that's one whip I'm working on. And then my other is a Lori Holt piece, and I got this from Lazy Daisy Stitching. She's local to me. She's about a half-hour away up in the Clarence area. She's super sweet. I love her, Kathy. I sent her a text the one day. I'm like, can you get this? And it was before market. And she's like, is this a market release? I'm like, yeah, last year. So she was able to get it for me, and then I said, and I really appreciated that. I said, just do me a favor and kit it up for me, even though I probably have a good amount of the classic colorworks. Just kit it up for me so that I don't have to worry, and then this way it's all together. So this is it, Garden of Quilts. I love this piece. I love this piece because it's stitching up really quickly, and that's what I like about it. Some of Lori Holt's pieces, again, are confetti stitching, and you're doing 3 and 4 stitches, just like Heart and Hand. The Wee Santas, there's a few stitches here, a few stitches there. I love them. I love the shading, but I get annoyed because I'm like, oh, I just started with this thread and I got to start and stop. So I decided that, yes, I'm going to use all of the Color and Cottons. I mean, Classic Colorworks. Color and Cotton is my second favorite, or my first favorite linen, between Picture This Plus. So here's the fabric, or the threads. I love the colors. Now this piece, I started April 11th of 2026. Oh, wait, Cedar River. My God, how many times did I misspeak today? Erase everything I said about my linens. Just forget it. Cedar River linen is my ultimate favorite. Fiber on a Whim is second. Picture This Plus is up there too. You know what? I love it all. I love it all. And when I go to retreat in a couple of weeks, pretty soon, Brenda Gervais. Oh, I'm so excited. Different story. Okay, So 32 count overcast Cedar River linen. I'm stitching 1/2. I am using the called for classic colorworks floss. I am telling you, I don't know where my brain is today. This is turning out lovely. Now, I know that I'm going to have to possibly change a couple colors because I am using just a little bit darker shade of linen as compared to what Lori Holt used. Let me see if it lists what she used on hers. Sure, it does say somewhere. She used Milk and Honey 36 count Edinburgh linen by Fiber on a Whim. I'm using 32 counts, and mine's going to be a little bit bigger. But this is mine. Look at how pretty she is. And you know what? For being so many different colors, what's nice about this is it's more color blocked. Like the spools of thread, I can stitch an entire spool without, you know, bouncing around back and forth. Now, because I am using overdyes and I do want to keep that type of modeling in there, usually what I'll do, and honestly you can see it a little bit better on the pink one here, I go in a square. Like I will start at the bottom. This is awkward. I'll start at the bottom and I'll go over, up, over, down, over, up, over, down, and I'll keep going until I get to the center. So I'm really enjoying this. It is coming out nice. I'm just looking to see, did I make a mistake in counting? I've already made a mistake, but I've already fixed it. So, well, I didn't fix it. I left it and just worked around it. But what I am doing with this one, because of the various colors, like in the flowers themselves, I don't want to miss anything. So I'm stitching one flower at a time. It goes really quickly, especially like I said, when you're doing the spools or you're doing the leaves, it's one color and, you know, you're just, the leaves are one color, the stems are another. So to be honest, it's stitching up a lot quicker than what I thought it was going to stitch. So I'm really enjoying this. So that is another whip that I am working on. And then I have one more that I started because, of course, you know, the freebies. And I was only going to work on this a couple days, but, you know, then you get into it and you're like, well, it's really going kind of quick. So if you remember what I had said to you originally about the passing of our Stitchy sister and me buying her stash, some of the floss in my floss bag now is from this particular piece. And as I said, I know I would never finish this, first of all, because this is 18 count and she was using two threads, and I would not use 2 threads on 18 count. I don't like any longer. I don't like the thickness of just trying to pull all that floss through. And then here's her back. So to me, it's just a little bit too thick. So I cut off the top piece. And let me show you the piece first. This again is from Primrose, and this was the latest for May. It's called Summer Blessings. This is the free stitch for May. It's very sweet. And again, they're using Coloring Cotton, I think. No, my mistake on this. They're using Classic Colorworks for this one. So they do have the DMC conversion. They give finished sizes for 14, 16, 18, and 25. It's all within the same range, very close, you know, anywhere between 5 3/4 to 4. I mean, well, that is a good almost 2 inches, but still, whatever you choose to stitch on. I chose the 18 count, and I am stitching 1 over. And here's my piece so far. And again, I am pulling all of the floss from that floss bag. So what I did was I tried, for this particular one, I tried to match colors close enough. So when I pulled my pieces, I laid them out on my design board like so. Like I had 2 greens for the leaves and the stems and the grass. So here's the other one. These are the colors I've already used. I keep them to the side. I don't want to put them back in the bag in case I missed something and I have to find it again. So I've already used this green, which I just dropped on the floor, for some of the grass. Okay, the grass underneath the house. I don't want to tip this. And a couple of the stems for the flowers. So then I'll mix this other green in for the other stems of the flowers. I used the lighter yellow, this particular yellow here, which is just a bit different. I'm trying to do this with an angle here. Just a bit different from the golden yellow. So I've used that with some of the flowers, you can see, and the bees. They're very tiny. Those little black dots, I've already done the yellow, and then I did the French knots for the bees. So they are going to be very tiny. And this, I mean, this piece is going to be tiny because it is 18 count. So it'll come out to be, get my glasses again. The 18 count is going to be 4 by 3. So as I said, I've kept the colors on the board so that I know what I still need to do. Like the browns and the creams are going to be for the house. Her house, they did it in reds. I'm doing it in brown because I just had my house repainted brown. Even though it was brown to begin with, I had it repainted brown because I liked it, brown and cream. Oh, here comes the Amazon guy delivering to the front door, even though there's a sign that says, please take to the side door. That's okay. That's absolutely fine. I see him and I will go get it. So this is what I am doing with those freebie stitches. I'm pulling colors. I'm keeping them on a design board. I do have some white here that I have to use. And if I find that when I'm stitching something that I really don't like it, I will pull it out. My only concern is I still have to do the bees, and the bees have a white body, that it is so tiny. It's hard to see them. So we'll see. This is an ivory color or cream color Ada. We'll see how it goes. If it's so small that I cannot see it, I will pick it out and maybe find some itty bitty tiny bee charms. That would be really cute too. Or bee buttons. I don't know if I'd be able to find anything that super tiny, but it's not going to hurt to look. So again, that is what I am doing with all of the little free stitches that I get this year. I am using Ada, or maybe a piece of Lugana that I had, something small that's left over, and then floss from the floss bag. Only because I'm really trying to use up stash. I had to pick up the stuff off the floor because I knew I would forget, and then I would have floss on the floor and I'd be missing it and all that other stuff. Okay. So what are my plans moving forward? I am definitely going to finish And Be Kind. That's my Sunday stitch. Even if I only put one thread in it on a Sunday, I want to have it done by September so I want to have it framed, done and framed by September, to honor my mother. Now, I know with the fair coming up, our Erie County Fair in August, they might have a backup of framing. And I did take that one piece to Hobby Lobby last year, and I was really pleased with it. But this year, when I take this, I like to put batting behind my piece to give it a little loft, and they don't do that. So I'm going to work with them and get the correct size mounting board, and then I will put the batting on, and I will mount it because I do lace. So I want to work with them to do it that way. So that I will work a little bit on tomato, on the pin cushion, or the one by Erin Elizabeth. I'm going to work on that. And I'm probably going to do maybe one or two more of the flowers of Lori Holt. And then I need to pick something new, because I don't want to get to the point where I say, oh, I'm tired of working on that, and then I don't want to stitch. Now it's been nice. It's time to get out in the gardens. There's a lot possibly going on this summer within our family that might pull back some of my stitching time. I've taken on an extra night of work until the fall. So, that does impact. And I don't want to not stitch, and I don't want to not quilt. And right now, I haven't been quilting for myself. I've been doing client things, but I have not done any quilting for myself because I'm not finding the time. So I'm going to work a little bit more. Maybe this week I'll work a little bit more on each one of these pieces, and then put them into my rotation and pull out at least 2 more pieces. The problem is every month we get the free stitch from Primrose, and I want to stitch it. I mean, yeah, that's great. I'm getting a little piece done, but I have all these other whips too, and I shouldn't be starting something new until I work on something old, but we all do it. Now, what's coming up for me? The Brenda Gervais retreat, the first weekend of June. I am leaving on June 4th, which is a Thursday. It's actually my son's birthday. And I will get into Rochester. Now, Rochester, for me to there, it's like an hour and 15-ish, because I drive the speed limit. But once I get into the hotel, I am going over to Hobby House, and I am attacking the shelf of Cedar River linens. And I'm also going to dig through some of my patterns and take them along to kit them up, because you know what, I did that last year when I went to the needlework press retreat in the fall. I took, I think 6, maybe 7, maybe 8, I don't even remember how many patterns I took with me to kit up, which was nice, because it's always hard when I buy a pattern. I want to buy the floss, but I don't know if I'm going to be stitching on the actual called for linens. So what I did last year was I took the pattern, I picked up the fabric that I needed, and I made note of the floss that I have at home for that particular pattern. And if I had the floss at home, I didn't buy it. If I needed something, I bought it. Because if push comes to shove, I can go to Lazy Daisy. And if you are up in the Clarence area, or if you're traveling to Buffalo and you have the opportunity to go up to her shop in Clarence, she has an amazing wall. I should say walls. 2 full walls of, when you walk in the shop, on the right-hand side, floss for days. On the left-hand side are her linens and some more floss. And then she has racks of silks and things. So please go see Kathy. Or, you know what? She has an app. You can download her app. It's called Lazy Daisy Stitching. She does ship. And actually, sorry. She does, as I said, she does ship, and she also takes orders for pickup. Now, I do have a pattern sitting there. It was a tiny town. I think it's Needleworker Tiny Town, and I'm like, I gotta go get that pattern. But I know when I go there, I'm gonna attack her Cedar River linens too. So anyway, I'm always going to say, hey, shop local. I'm fortunate that I have two places that are local to me. She's about a half hour-ish, and then Hobby House, which we all know and love. So I have the retreat coming up in June. I'm going on Thursday. The retreat is Friday, Saturday, Sunday, so 5th, 6th, and 7th. I am staying on site at the Woodcliff this year. And if you are going, or if you know anybody that is going, please send me a message. I would love to meet up with people because I'm going by myself. And, you know, walking into the retreat, you always look around to find a place where you can sit. And sometimes, you know, and this happened to me at a couple of retreats, I'd go up to the table. Oh no, everybody, our table is full. And you kind of like, you get embarrassed in that. When I went to the retreat in September, that's where I met a lovely group of ladies, and we still have our group chat going. And it's lovely. Every once in a while, someone will say, hey, what's going on? Or what are you stitching? Or Happy Mother's Day. And hey, Happy Mother's Day, by the way. So you do make friends. You do make friends. And I actually have somebody else that I am friends with from the Plum Street retreat, which was a couple of years ago. So don't ever feel embarrassed or afraid or decide not to go to a retreat because you think you're going to be there by yourself. I guarantee you, you will make friends. You will leave with friends. You will leave with friends. You will leave with new contacts. That's not to say that everybody you meet there is going to become your friend texting. You know, there were some ladies that I met at the a retreat. Oh my gosh, I can't even remember which one. Not this last one, the one before. Might have been the Plum Street, might have been a different one. I can't remember. That we aren't friends anymore. You know, it was good for that weekend or maybe a few months after, and that's okay. But I can tell you that I probably have 8 or 9 ladies that I still remain in contact with that I met through a retreat. And that's lovely, right? And they're not in our area. So that's lovely. So please don't ever hesitate to sign up for a retreat. You will make friends. You will. So what else? Okay, so that's it for stitching. But you know what? I do want to show you some of my purchases. Now, I do have the needle worker. It's still at Lazy Daisy. I don't really have any cross stitch purchases. So if you're done listening to me yammer on about cross stitch, that's fine. But I am going to show you some other things that I did pick up that work for me with my cross stitch and my sewing. So I'm going to move on from there. The first thing that I bought, and I was very lucky to get in on this the second time she offered this kit. If you are a quilter, I got this pattern from Amy Simmonds. You know what I should do in the beginning? Is say, let's take a poll as to how many times Barb has to stop the video because Chet barks, and then offer a prize at the end. I might do that the next time because I haven't kept track this time. Anyway, for the quilters out there, Amy Simmonds designed this pattern, Cabin Beneath the Stars. And it gave me time to take it out of the package. So the pattern is called Cabin Beneath the Stars, and it's beautiful. Her business is called Stitched by Starlight, and she is on Etsy, and she does have other patterns. Now, when she first offered this kit, now I bought it as a kit, and I could not say no, right? When she offered it first, I missed out. She offered it on a particular day and time, and it was gone. It was gone. I don't even know how many she offered. And then she said, she put out there, she's like, you know, and she is on Instagram. So if you look for her, you'll find her. I'm going to put her info below. She did say, you know, if I was able to do this again, would anybody be interested? Oh my God, my hand flew up so high. I think I got whiplash in my shoulder. So she offered the kit a second time on 2 different days, a Friday and a Saturday. I kid you not. I had my alarm set, As soon as it was available, and she's from Utah, so there was a time difference. As soon as it was available, I was on there and I bought the kit. I bought a queen size kit. Now, this pattern, I bought the pattern from her as well, and I wanted the paper pattern. She sent this in all clipped pieces. Look at this. She did this. I didn't do this. This is the PDF. This is PDF 3. This is PDF 4. She had this all separated with these beautiful little clips. Look at these little tiny star clips. Aren't they sweet? And I could not wait for this to arrive. No, I haven't started it. The reason I bought this kit, Kim Diehl. These are all Kim Diehl fabrics. So this kit here is for the queen size pattern. Now, she gives options. Now, you know that I am a Kim Diehl fan. I have so much of her fabric that I know that when I go to do this quilt, and this is one of the reasons why I have not started this yet, because I can make a scrappy version. And I know that Amy had posted, let me see if there's actually a picture of the scrappy version here. I know I saw it somewhere. Maybe it's on her website or on her Instagram, but there is a scrappy version. And I will pull all of my Kim Diehl fabrics. Oh my God, I just want to love and hug this stuff. They're so pretty. So pretty. I mean, if somebody drove by in a white van and opened the door and said, I've got Kim Diehl fabrics, I'd be gone. I'd be gone. And then give me a cup of coffee on top of it. Okay. So I'm going to put Amy's information in the drop-down box. If you are a quilter, or just, you know, she does have some other very, very nice patterns. But this one spoke to me, and I believe this is going to be a fall start for me once I get a few other things out of the way. Now, some of the other things that I bought, I have a pile here. I am a pen junkie. Okay, if you've got colored pens or colored pencils, I'm in. So, short story, I got a gift card from my employer at work for Customer Service Representatives Week. A very nice gift card, right? And I was so excited because they know me. They used to give me Joanne gift cards all the time. So I'm like, oh, I'm going to go to Hobby Lobby. And, you know, I walked through the store and I picked up these fine line markers. Now, these are double-sided markers. These were on clearance for $10. There's 36 markers in here. There's fine line, and then they have a wider at the bottom, or yeah. So it's a 0.4 millimeter and then a 2.0 millimeter. Look at these markers, all these pretty colors. They were in order until I dropped the bag and they all fell out. So I got this, $10, right? I love markers. I use them in my books. I like to do my to-do books with them just because color. Even at work, I write with pens. I bought not from Hobby Lobby, but I also have these microlining pens, which these are waterproof. So I specifically bought these to write on quilts, like do my labeling for quilts. And they also come in a multitude of colors. These I got on Amazon. So this is a 0.005. This is a very, very fine point pigment ink marker. And I'm, as I said, I have this for quilts. I went to get my car oil changed and tires rotated, and I had to sign for my, sign the credit card thing. And I said to the guy, where did you get those pens? So I stopped at Office Max on the way home, found the pens, and yes, they were cheaper on Amazon. So I didn't have to have them that day, so I waited. Now, I gave one away to one of the girls at work, and I have one at work that I'm using, which is a purple one, and then I have the green one down here on the floor, right here. These are also 0.5, very fine gel pens. Now, these are nice. These pens came out at like $3 each, because of the way but these are super nice. These I use for work. So back to Hobby Lobby. I'm walking around the clearance and I see this. Now this is marked down to $6 from 14. And I believe it is for photo storage. It's a photo keeper. So they're like 5x8 little thingies, individual plastic things. And the reason it was marked down is because there is a big crack right here. So I thought, you know what, this would be good for floss. Maybe what I might do, now that I'm thinking about it, is take all of my crazy floss from this bag, because it's really starting to get knotted, and sort it down and put it in some of these boxes and just kind of keep it sorted that way, and then I can put it in here. So I had a couple other things when I was at Hobby Lobby, and I go up and she gives me the total and I go to use the card. It was from Michael's. I said, well, okay. So I still have my gift card to Michael's, not Hobby Lobby. I did get some really cool storage things and some really cool pens. And I did walk over to the section with the cross stitch and stuff at Hobby Lobby. None of it was on sale. They really don't put the cross stitch stuff on sale. So I do know that now that Michael's, I know that Michael's has some cross stitch things, and I did order off of Amazon. I'm going to see how this works. I generally stitch in hand, but I saw, and it's funny because I really don't like Nerge hoops, but Nerge has a table stand that you can clamp the hoop onto. Not like your regular round hoops that you have to twist into this. It's an actual clamp, I believe. So I found one on Amazon and I have it ordered, and I'm going to see what it looks like. Because I'm thinking when I went to retreat in the past, I don't sit upright to sew. I am cockeyed in the chair, my feet are up, or I'm sitting back. I got something propped here. I got the light over my shoulder. So going to retreat, sitting upright to stitch is very uncomfortable for me. I don't have a place to rest my hoop. Or, if I'm stitching in hand, I can't throw my feet up on the seat. It's kind of tacky. So I'm trying to see if I can use that table stand, but it's also one that you can sit on. It goes, you can sit on it too. So I'm going to see how it works. I don't know if Michael's had any, but to be honest, the one that I picked up off of Amazon, you know how sometimes they sell things that are like used, where somebody gets something, they don't like it, and they send it back, and they can't offer it as new again. It can be sold as used. That's how I'm getting this hoop. It's used, but it's still really pricey. So I'm going to see how it works. It's going to come in before I go to retreat. So I generally don't like anything like that, but I'm finding that I need something. I want to see if I can find something that I can put into a hoop. Like I know I have a couple of pieces, that whips that are sitting across from me here in my pile that have to be on a hoop or a frame because the linen is so thin. And I am looking at a Brenda Gervais piece right now, and it is on Cedar River linen, and I do have it on a frame. I had to grab it because it's literally right in front of me. It's home on Quaker Lane, this one. And I am using silk for this. So I love this piece, and I am going to take this to retreat with me. And this is as far as I got on it. Again, because, you know, we're stitching on dark color with a light floss. And I am using 1/2. But I'm hoping that I can take this with me and use that frame to hold it so that I can stitch on this piece at retreat, because I'm not going to take a lot of pieces because I do know that they give you pieces to work on there. As a matter of fact, at the Needlework Press Retreat, this is the piece that I started there. This is the piece that they gave us. And I started it there, and I finished it when I got home. They gave everything. The only thing that I had to do was put my 2025 charm on there. Yeah, 2025. So this is the piece that I did stitch last year at retreat. I started it there. So sometimes, you know, they give you a small and things like that. So I'm not going to take too many things with me. And I do know that in the evening after, you know, you can sit and stitch, and I am staying in the hotel. The last retreat, I did go back to my hotel. I stayed someplace different, but I do not want to miss a minute of the Brenda Gervais retreat. So I will stay there downstairs stitching, and I think they keep the room open until like 11 o'clock. And then when they shut the room, you can still go out into like the vestibule area, I guess we could call it. People will still be stitching there till whatever time. So I want to have something that I can try and stitch from a tabletop frame, holder, whatever. I've never had one. So again, long story, let's go all the way back to my gift card that I got at Michael's. If that one doesn't work, I know that I have a gift card that I could potentially go over to Michael's and see if they have something there. I also want to put together little gifts for my table mates, and I do have something in mind. So, you know, that'll be nice to go over there and pick up some extra floss to use as gifts for my table mates. Usually there's 8 at a table. I think there's 8. At the Needlework Press, let's see, there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think there was 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of us. We had an extra couple chairs, which was nice. But I will make 8, possibly 10 goodies. I know I have a couple friends that, like Vicky from Hobby House. I want to take her a little something too. So anyway, listen, friends, this one is, it's over an hour and 3 minutes. I'm going to sign off. I am so glad that you're still here with me. I hope that I gave you maybe a piece of advice along the way, maybe a little funny story. I can tell you another funny story, which is totally unrelated to all of this. So if you want to stick around for a few more minutes, I had my house painted pretty much the same colors because I liked the brown and the cream and the maroon colors. So it just really was freshened up. So all of the stuff that, you know, we have out in our yards, and I do have a lot of stuff that I put out for the summer between the furniture and the lawn decorations and all this other stuff. I had a section in the back where I had my grandkids' toys, the outdoor toys. We had a fence there, and I said to my husband, we have to take that fence down because it's literally falling over, and they need to get to the garage to paint. It was literally covering up a corner of the garage. We take down the fence, we pull all of that stuff out. Now everything is still sitting in the middle of my patio. It looks horrible. And for a week, I would go out at night with my dogs and I would hear this groaning noise. And I'm thinking, oh my God, there's an animal over here. Now, I live by Cass Park. We have deer. There's been foxes, right? There's wildlife that does come around. Quite a few years back, we had a rat problem from a house that had a population of rats living under their garage, and it was so bad they had to tear down the garage and put in a new foundation. Okay, that was nasty. Anyway, so every night I'm outside, I'm with my dogs, and I'm hearing this noise, and I'm like, come on guys, come in the house, hurry up. It's, I don't know. I mean, yes, I went out with a flashlight. I have lights around my canopy. I can't turn on my garage light because I have a bird in there with her babies. And last year when we did that, the heat of the light might not have been too good for the babies. So I don't have that floodlight on. Yada, 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 right? So the other day I went outside, Monday. I'm like, okay, it's decent in the morning. I'm going to try to get some stuff done. And I'm outside and I'm like, what is that noise? Now I'm hearing this noise in the daytime. And I'm thinking that there is some type of animal underneath the tarp where I have all of my furniture stored. And I'm hearing this noise and I'm hearing this noise. And I'm like, put on your big girl pants and just go and look. All right? Throw a stick or something to see if something scoots out. My grandkids had a little riding Elmo toy, a little Elmo school bus, that when you push the little beeper in the middle, it would talk Elmo talk and yada yada. It was dying, all right. That was the dead animal that was dying in my yard. It was the Elmo toy trying to get out its last little bit of, right? Oh my God, Elmo has now bit the dust. There is no more life left in Elmo toy. So they can ride the little Elmo school bus, but he's not going to be saying his ABCs anymore. Oh my God, my friends. I still laugh when I look at that toy because it's outside still because, I'll throw it out. Oh, we got big trash next week anyway. So for the whole week, I'm thinking there was an animal hiding underneath my patio furniture cover and stuff. It was just poor old Elmo trying to get the last ABC out. Anyway, I'm going to leave you right there. I am going to go with my daughter-in-law today, pick up my grandson. I'm going to take the kids for lunch. I do have to work tonight, so I am so glad you stuck with me for this long. Please let me know if you have come across any new floss tubers that you think I would be interested in. Please leave me a message below. You can also follow me on Instagram. I will put that information down below. Please say hi, tag me in things. I would love to interact with all of you. I would love to see what you're stitching too. So for all of you that are still here hanging out with me, I love you all. Thank you for being here today. And I'll see you soon. Bye for now.